Okay. Though in my head, I'm telling you, I was formulating this. This is the multiverse question where there's an Evo experiencing all 80 of the questions.
Take a playful look with Enfys Book as they roll for crit hits with pagan wordsmiths. Hi there, and welcome to Four Quick Cues Book Talk with Enfys. I'm Enfys J. Book, and on this show, I ask pagan authors 4 quick questions chosen by a roll of the dice. Today, I'm super excited to talk to Ivo Dominguez Jr., pronouns he, him. Ivo's been an active member of the pagan community since 1978. Ivo is a founding member of the Assembly of the Sacred Wheel, where he serves as one of the elders. Ivo's the author of The Four Elements of the Wise, Keys to Perception, a practical guide to psychic development, Practical Astrology for Witches and Pagans, Casting Sacred Space, and Spirit Speak. He is the anchor author for the new 12-book Witches' Sun Sign series. In his mundane life, he's been a computer programmer, the executive director of an AIDS/HIV service organization, a bookstore owner, and more. Ivo, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm delighted to be here.
I'm so happy to have you back. You were on the first video streaming series
Right.
of Four Quick Cues, but this is your first time on the audio one, so it's very exciting to have you here. So today, you know the drill. We're going to do
Yep.
4 quick cues with rolls of the dice. One of our traditions is I ask my guest to name the dice, and folks on audio cannot see this, but it is a lovely, glittery rainbow D20. So what would you like to name our dice today?
Edgar, after Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar is an excellent name. Uh, there was a game that I had for a while that came with a little cardboard dinosaur named Edgar, and its only
Aw.
function was that whoever wins gets possession of Edgar and gets to rename him until the next
Oh.
winner is chosen. That was its only function in the whole game, and I always thought that was cute. All right, so our first question is about spirituality. Let's see what we get. We get question 11. Ooh, what is your favorite spirituality festival or conference?
Oh, man. Because that falls in the category of I don't have favorites, do I?
Which is a
However,
perfectly valid answer.
but I will say a category. I do prefer the hotel-based events over the camping events. And it's not that I don't love nature, because I live out in nature. I'm on a little over 100 acres in the middle of the woods. Maybe that's because I get enough nature at home, so that I like to be more comfortable when I go to teach somewhere. And there are a scad of really nice hotel-based conferences nowadays.
Yeah, there really are. I'm really excited for the upcoming Sacred Space Conference, which is local to us in Baltimore, coming up in March.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I love that event, and I've been going to it for decades at this point.
Wow. Yeah, it's a really, for those who are unfamiliar, it is a really fabulous intermediate to advanced level magical conference and just really gets some astoundingly good speakers and workshops. So if you've never been, highly recommend it.
Indeed.
All right. Question 2 is about writing. Ooh, and we get number 2. Ooh, what's the hardest thing about writing a book?
Oh, well, that's an easy, hard question. Uh, I have a really hard time when I don't have a class of people in front of me. That's the way I do most of my teaching. So when I'm writing, people say, well, can't you just imagine an audience? And I can to a degree, but I have to make sure that what I say is going to reach the greatest number of people without confusion, because I am not there to look at them say, I wonder what he really means, or I didn't get that, which I normally pick up by looking at people. So writing means that I have to perhaps run too many possible futures in my head every time I write a paragraph, because I don't know who'll be reading it, and I do want them to get the best experience of what I have to share.
Now, you shared a really interesting little tidbit when we were at Frederick Pagan Pride Day about how
Yep.
one can use a signed book to get more meaning. Do you want to talk about that for a minute? Because I thought that was
Oh,
such a cool idea.
absolutely. I've been using this for years, even before I had books of my own as an author to sign, because it's well known that if you have somebody's signature, something that they've created themselves or touched themselves, or it's of them, that you have a linkage to their energy. And that can be used for lots of magic, both lovely and wonderful and pleasant, and some stuff that's not so great. But if I have an author's signature, I will open the book, put my finger on the signature, push a little bit of my energy into the signature to warm it up and activate it, pull the energy back in, and then reread the passage that I didn't quite understand and try to read it from the voice of the author, hook into the author's way of being. And I find that it works really well. It even works on the books that have been signed by authors that are now long dead for many years. So it's a really valuable tool. And for you that are authors that sign many books, hey, at home on my altar, I have rolled up a little scroll with several versions of my signature with a protective spell so that my signature in somebody's book can't be used against me. So just putting it out there.
Very smart. That's an incredibly good tip. All right. Our third question is about what I loosely call extracurriculars, or not necessarily writing specific professional questions. So we'll see what we get here. Number 3. Going back to conferences again, is there a conference you'd like to speak at but haven't been able to yet? You've been everywhere, so I imagine this one is probably a no.
I'm going to put this one in the category of a conference that does not yet exist, but when I hear of it, I will greatly desire to go attend it and to speak at it. And I'll tell you what that conference looks like. It looks a lot like the ones like Sacred Space or Paganicon or Convocation, where you have a Mystic South or Summer Magic in Florida. What do they all have in common? A lot of people from different traditions and a fair amount of diversity. Which is something that has been improving. We're not there yet, but it has begun to improve, and actually a little bit more quickly in the hotel-based ones than the camp-out events, truthfully. But I would say it's a conference where I'm going to be as stimulated by the event as I am from the interactions I'll have when I'm teaching myself. Because I go to workshops at conferences. It's like I don't just hang out after I give my talk or do my ritual. And indeed, most of the teachers and authors that I admire the most are still going actively to classes rather than deciding that they just have to loll about in the lobby and be founts of wisdom.
Yeah, we're both going to Paganicon in March as
Yeah,
well. And I was looking at the schedule, and I'm already having FOMO for the fact that I can't go to multiple workshops per time
right.
period because there are so many good teachers and good classes being offered. It's just impossible to decide. So that's going to be my dream conference, one where I can manage to go to multiple sessions per time slot.
If you work that out, please let me know.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so our fourth question is our random encounter question.
Random encounter question.
This is where I roll not only the d20, but also a d4 to choose one of 80 possible questions to ask, which can be anything from what's your favorite ice cream flavor to what is the meaning of life. So I'm really excited to see whatever we come up with here.
Right.
So let's roll this. 3 and a 6. Aw, what made you smile this week?
Okay. Though in my head, I'm telling you, I was formulating this. This is the multiverse question where there's an Evo experiencing all 80 of the questions. But so well, okay. Most people know that I love animals. And in particular, dogs are my favorite, though I love all animals. And I had an opportunity a few days ago to be in the presence of a dog that is named Blade, who was a puppy many, many, many years ago. And actually, I helped deliver him.
Aw.
And now he's 10, 11 years old and all grown up, and he remembered me, and it was just an amazing. We cuddled, I rubbed his face, I scritched him, and it was very clear that it just takes a moment, and he remembered, I remember that smell, I know who you are. And I think that it was impossible to avoid smiling if I wanted to, simply because, man, it's such pure emotion and unadulterated. It's like, I know you, I remember you, I like you, and we get that so infrequently.
Yeah, the love from animals is extremely pure and uncomplicated.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, they don't They don't care if you've had a bad week, if you're in a bad mood. They're just like there to be happy to be in your presence.
Oh, actually, I'd say that if I were in a bad mood, thankfully that day I was in a glorious mood for a variety of reasons. Every time I've been around an animal that knows me, and if I'm the slightest bit off, they are Velcro,
Oh, yeah.
trying to do whatever they can,
Yeah.
and they are in some ways more spiritually evolved than we are.
Yes, I will 100% agree with that. They have a really good sense for when you're in a bad mood, and cats in particular have a great
Yes,
sense for when your bladder is full, and that is when they come sit on your lap.
it, and do a little bit of kneading.
Yes, yes. Just that is, you could be on that couch for 2 hours and the cat will
Absolutely.
ignore you, but the second you're like, I need to get up, that's when
Oh
they
yeah.
come and they want to be cuddly.
And then they turn up the knob on the local gravity field to make themselves heavier.
Exactly. My friend Matricula has a song called Meownir, where it's about being pinned down by your kitty like he's heavy as Mjolnir.
Right.
And yeah, that, a lot
I
of
could see
truth with
that.
that. Well, those are the 4 quick cues. I'm really excited to have you here, and I meant to mention this at the top because we got to collaborate on the Witch's Sun
Yes.
Signs series,
Yep.
and I just got this week the proof copy of Sagittarius Witch in the mail, which is super exciting. I will never tire of seeing my name on a book cover. Although I told someone, unless someone does a really nasty tell-all book about me, then I might not like it so much. But as long as it's books I'm writing, seeing my name on the cover of something printed is just, it's a thrill. And I was
It
so
is.
honored to be able to work on that with you. And I'd love if you can tell us more about the Sun Sign series and anything else that you would like to let people know about, upcoming
Yeah.
events or other books or anything.
Well, all right. Well, let's start with the Sunshine series, and it was awesome to work with you. And you were amazing because I know that you were also so busy with other projects in your life at the moment that I approached you with, "Are you willing to do this?" So I do appreciate you made the time for it.
Oh,
Now,
it was such a
uh,
dream to be able to collab with you on it. There was no way I could say no to that. And it
well,
also helped me level up my astrology knowledge and
right,
interest, which was a great bonus.
right, and well, I think that that speaks to why the whole series is important to me because I think astrology is a really useful magical language, way of describing energies and patterns and people and everything else. And it's one that would serve most practitioners in many ways beyond the, oh, it's I'm never going to be an astrologer. I'm not going to do chart readings for people. If I need that, I'll go to somebody who's a specialist who can do a reading for me, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all well and good, but I know lots of people that use herbs that aren't herbalists. I know a lot of people that do all manner of magical practices that don't rise to the level of I'm going to hang a shingle and it'll be my job, and it doesn't have to be. But I think that I want to have more people adopt astrology and kind of equalize it. You don't have to be a great mathematician. You don't have to dig for hours and hours and hours to get some really useful material. So that's part of the reason I wanted it to happen. But also, hey, if you do decide you want to learn more about astrology, then each of the books gives you a pretty comfortable, easy introduction to what the 12 signs are about. And guess what? Just like the four elements in spirit, we're made out of all 12 signs. We all have all 12 signs in us. It's just a matter of which proportion. And people say, well, what's this deal about sun sign and witch? Well, the books are aimed at people that identify some kind of magical practitioner, and witch is a pretty good catch-all term. And though not everybody who's written for the book is a witch. Uh, and the people that wrote aren't necessarily astrologers. Most of them weren't, but they find a way to make use of it. Sun's important because the sun represents your divine spark, your core, your center, and basically your sun sign tells you the starting tone, the starting fundamental tone in the chord that is your chart. It's a way of understanding where your power comes from. And as somebody who's magical, you get to pick and choose how you express what you have.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the series, it's really quite a unique series to approach because every one of the book has every one of the books in the series has Ivo as the primary author who writes all the good crunchy astrology bits. And then there's a second author who is a witch of that sun sign, or a magical practitioner of that sun sign, talking about their experience being a magical practitioner of that sun sign in various ways. And then there's additional contributors, also most of whom are of that sun sign, not every single one, because there are folks who contributed to all 12 as well.
Right.
But they provide recipes and like little vignettes and little history things and whatnot. But there was no pressure for me because I got to co-write the one where you are a Sagittarius Evo like me. So it's like, well, hope I write this correct. but no, it was super great collabing with you because you gave me a lot of really good info to start with and approach it from. And it was really fun because the writing I got to do was very bloggy. And that's where I really like to write in that style and have not had as much chance to do that recently. So they're really great. They're little, nice, pretty little books too. They've got a really fun little giftable size to them. And right now you can just go out and buy the first 6, and the other 6 are available for pre-order, including Sagittarius Witch, which comes out in April. So run, don't walk.
And I hope you do. And if nothing else, if you have somebody in your life that's one of those signs and you just can't quite understand or get a clue about them, you might get some insights.
Admittedly, I'm collecting the whole series for that reason, and also because I think it's interesting to learn more about the other parts of my chart and be like, you know, I may not be an Aries sun, but I am an Aries moon, so learning more about Aries is a good thing for me.
Absolutely.
And same with most of the rest, or I have close friends who are those signs, and helping me understand them a little better is nice. Yeah. So definitely recommended. I am super excited about the whole series, and the authors on them are amazing. Like, it's such a great collection of folks that contributed to them. So I think there's something to appreciate about every single one in the series.
It's been a ride. I mean, the whole series was put together in about 14 months, and that was
Yeah,
quite a
writing
ride.
12 books at once. How's that? Is that a fun thing? Is that a thing you'll do
Well,
again?
no, never. I mean, I will say that there was a mystical, weird moment when I had a Zoom call with Alicia Gallo, one of the editors at Llewellyn. And in the Zoom call, we were talking about a series. And so I said, so is this going to be the 12 signs, or is this going to be a series that's the 7 or 10 or however many planets we decide to make it? And she said, no, the signs. Because there was a moment that I thought, well, I can do one on the planets. And then after this, I said, you know, this was delightful.
And I'm done.
And I'm done. And I've started on 2 other books. So it's that have nothing to do with astrology, kind of to clear the palate, the sherbet of writing.
The sherbet of writing. I love that. Well, Ivo, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Where can people find you online if they want to learn more about you and your books?
Easiest thing to do is go to ivodominguezjr.com. And that's my website. Sure, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, but honestly, if you want to know where I'm teaching or what online or in-person thing I'm doing next, go to the website. That's the best bet.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to say that Ivo has a number of Zoom workshops available throughout the year, which are really good and on very interesting magical topics. I've taken a few myself, and I always get a lot out of them. So be sure to take a look at that if you visit his website, and that'll be in the show notes.
Woohoo.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to my weird, nerdy little dice-based interview show. Coming up, we have some incredible guests this season. This is the first episode of season 2, and we've got some folks coming up, including Astrea Taylor and Ben Stimpson, and also Brandon Weston. So stay tuned for those episodes. If you enjoyed this episode of 4 Quick Cues Book Talk with Enfys, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review on your podcast app of choice. And you can check out more content from me, Enfys, at majorarqueerna.com. That's MajorArqueerna.com. Whatever time it is where you are, have a fantastic day, and may the dice of fate roll well for you.
Thanks for listening to 4 Quick Cues.